public. We're exposing years of behavior by a judge and her staff, all hidden from you.
There's no way for the public to know this.
Correct.
A whistleblower takes us inside a courtroom with cruel jokes, mocking memes, concerning conflicts, and some things that are just bizarre.
Here those bubbles.
All rise. It's the order we all receive when a judge enters the courtroom. It's to show respect and honor, and it's why we call this investigation dishonorable.
Because we're about to show you how people on the other side of the bench were treated in one judge's courtroom and how the system failed to hold her accountable. That judge declined to sit down with ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biskobing. But tonight, Dave's got the evidence and a warning. It's very graphic and cruel.
They're emails, memes, and jokes. Some racial, homophobic, and obscene. Some so cruel, it's hard to believe they were sent between a judge and her staff. It all happened inside the Maricopa County Superior Courtroom of Judge Aaron O'Brien Otis. This, of course, is Judge Otis. This is her bailiff, Barbara Chavez, and clerk, Kelly Schaefer.
You worked for the clerk's office for how long?
A little over 11 years.
How much of that was in Aaron Otis's courtroom?
Almost my last 2 years.
Schaefer was an experienced clerk. She worked the Jodi Arias murder trial, and she was transferred to Otis's courtroom because the judge would be taking on death penalty cases for the first time.
Had a pretty smooth career until you hit her courtroom.
Till I met Aaron Otis.
Before we get deeper into why Schaefer is sitting here, first we start with what happened in that courtroom.
You remember seeing these. I mean, how often did stuff like this get sent?
Almost daily.
Really?
Yes.
Like you're in a hearing and just these would pop up?
Yes.
We obtained messages from late 2017 through 2018, then pulled courtroom video to see what was going on as they were sent.
So there's one, and I'm just going to get it out of the way because it's maybe the worst. It's got no subject line, so you have no idea what you're about to open.
Yes.
I even got it highlighted here with a Post-it.
It came during a jury selection in September 2017.
Are there any jurors who have any physical conditions or illnesses that would make it difficult to sit through a trial of this length?
We're changing the voice of the woman you're about to hear.
My condition is embarrassing. I don't really want to.
Okay, you want to talk in private? Okay.
In the cleared out courtroom, the juror says she has a medical condition that gives her uncontrollable periods.
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. I don't want to put you in a situation where you're going to feel uncomfortable or anything like that.
Otis's bailiff emails this photo almost immediately after the juror leaves. We blurred the word at the bottom. It's the F word.
What do you think the public would think if they knew this was happening in cases as big as they're handling?
I would hope they would be disgusted by it.
By big cases,
Then you must impose the death penalty.
we mean murders and death penalty trials, like the State v. John Allen. He's one of multiple family members convicted of first-degree murder after they put 10-year-old Amy Deal in a footlocker.
He had the only key.
And at this moment in trial, the bailiff emails a pair of photos to Otis, comparing the defendant and his family to characters in movies. First, cannibals from The Hills Have Eyes, then Chucky. ABC 15 obtained many examples in many cases.
Sexist, racist,
Yes,
just blatantly insensitive?
absolutely. You name it.
To be clear, Bailiff Barbara Chavez initiated many of the mocking emails. But here's one first sent by Judge Otis about a defense attorney. Subject line, pants. Quote, not for trial or even ever. Otis again emails her bailiff a minute later. You can see all the cellulite on her butt. The bailiff then sends this picture you've been looking at, but we added the black box because the original image is just too graphic for TV news. We're not going to show video of the defense attorney, but this is Otis's expression moments after the photo is emailed. Jurors, defendants, their families, attorneys, even presiding judges, all targets.
Nobody was off limits. And Aaron Otis would even say, because at one point they took these memes, they printed them out, they laminated them, and they hung them on the wall in the division. So when you walked into the judge's division, there was a whole wall.
Well, they made like a collage
Oh
of...
yeah, absolutely. It was a collage on the wall. And then finally the court reporter went out and bought a little photo album book, and we were like, please take them off the wall and put them in your hate book. So they did. They had a hate book.
Hate book?
A hate book,
Is that what they called it?
yeah. That's what I called it.
Okay. But I mean...
What else can you call it?
I don't know.
In a lengthy statement, Otis absolutely refuted the claims about an album of memes and emails. And as for Schaefer, why didn't she just ask for a transfer?
They said if I wanted to leave, they were going to tell her it was at my request. I was afraid of her. I had a great career there.
In early 2019, after almost 2 years, Schaefer finally spilled everything to her bosses in writing. It forced the clerk's office to file a complaint with the Arizona Commission on Judicial Conduct, which oversees and investigates judges. The complaint included info about the same memes and emails, plus other allegations, manipulating judicial performance reviews, inappropriate conversations and interactions with defendants, like clearing a courtroom to throw a birthday party for the son of a 6-time convicted felon before sentencing him. The party had cupcakes and bubbles, and we dug up video to prove it.
I hear those bubbles.
Is there any point where you look back on it and you just go, oh my God, like I can't believe like I sat in there through all of this.
Every day. And I'm ashamed of myself for not coming forward sooner. I live with that every day.
You feel guilt for this?
Mm-hmm. I always tell my kids, if you watch somebody bullied and you do nothing, you're as bad as the bully.
Now, ethics experts told us the evidence we just showed you is unlike anything they've seen. One called it astonishing and horrific for a judge in life and death cases. Another called it childish high school behavior that undermines the public trust. Now, we're outside where the Commission on Judicial Conduct meets, and you might assume that they disciplined Otis. No. After 2 years, they dismissed the complaint. Why? We don't know exactly. Their records are not public, they don't have public meetings, and they declined to provide us with any more information. In this order, the only public document outlining their decision, it says, the Commission found no clear and convincing evidence that the judge had initiated any memes. The Commission considered the judge's remorse, and they warned her about appropriately supervising her judicial staff, including an employee's use of electronic communications.
I mean, that's almost passive. It's like she didn't participate, but she did.
100% she did. There were so many times that she would even say to her bailiff, that needs a meme, that deserves a meme.
The Commission's order does not address the other allegations, and because they dismissed the case, they removed Judge Otis's name from the final public findings.
Have you read through this?
I have.
What do you think about this?
No one would have any idea who it was or what this is or what it pertains to.
Or what even happened?
No.
Barbara Chavez still works for the court. As for Otis, she joined the bench in 2012, but resigned in 2020. She left in the middle of the judicial investigation to work at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Emails show County Attorney Alistair Riddell was involved in recruiting Otis. She's now a high-level prosecutor in the Capital Case Division, the unit that handles murder and death penalty cases.
That's the other thing. She now is on a capital caseload. So she is prosecuting people to put them to death. And I really feel that those prosecutors need to be held to the highest standard. And she's the most unethical person I've ever known.
Do you think she's been held accountable?
No.
And Dave, Erin Otis declined to sit down with you for an interview, but what else did she say in that long statement?
Well, she began by saying she always tries to act with integrity, and then she added that this was just a very brief and limited example of her time as a judge. But remember, we showed those emails were sent over at least a 1.5 year period. And now here's a key part of her statement. In retrospect, the situation relating to the emails and or memes over email should have been discouraged and stopped. I admit that I did not handle that in the best way and have taken full responsibility for it. I have also taken full responsibility for anything I said over email that lacked professional boundaries. Otis also emphasized multiple times the Judicial Commission dismissed the complaint against her.
So what's next in the investigation?
Well, Steve, there's a lot more we still need to show and to know in all of this. We're going to dig deeper into the lack of transparency with these judicial investigations. We're going to look at how and when the county attorney's office hired Otis. And on Monday, we're going to air a report about that birthday party and allegations of other inappropriate contact with defendants.
Thanks so much, Dave. You can see that full report and all the